Hello! Last video, I talked about stuff I'm not scared of anymore, which is great to feel like you could actually handle shots that used to be really difficult for you. But today, I wanted to share some things that I'm still kind of concerned about, like shots that I probably couldn't handle or pull off, and stuff that keeps me up at night. So yeah, I feel like the two basic fears I have are either it won't look good, or I just won't be able to do it at all. I had a few examples that I want to share where I either couldn't make it look good enough, or I almost didn't make it look good at all, but it ended up looking good. And then third, I'll just share some stuff that I feel like I could probably be doing better, but it's really confusing to me. Stuff that you don't understand can be kind of scary sometimes. So yeah, let's get into it here. This is a shot that I spent a huge amount of energy on that didn't look good. And the story behind this is it was kind of important to the story of the short film that she was wearing this necklace for this shot, but we forgot to put it on when we were filming, and then we realized it later, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm a visual effects artist, I could probably take care of this. And boy, was I wrong. I actually got pretty far and made a lot of progress. The challenges of this shot were, first of all, we've got a flickering light in the background, and of course she doesn't have a single tracking marker, she's moving all over the place. Then we've also got the camera, which is moving all over the place. I was able to track the camera, thankfully, and then for her what I did was I animated several proxies. This is all just pure roto animation, no tracking marker assists or anything like that, because an object track is ridiculous to pull off in this kind of setting. I got it as far as I could go, and this is that first fear, that you could do absolutely everything you can to make something look good and it just doesn't look good. I think the biggest giveaway was probably the simulation. A lot of the friction and stuff felt kind of off, and that was probably partly because of this kind of jankily animated proxy object that wasn't matching her real motion. So yeah, eventually I was just like, you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna do this. This is dumb. Now this is another shot that almost didn't work. This is the kind of stuff that is scary to me because, like, maybe you just don't have the skills, or maybe the shot is just too difficult. And so for this shot, it was a reshoot. We had to shoot in the fall when there wasn't any more greenery. So to make it match up with the original production, I had to track in some greenery to make it look like it was summer again. And so this is the scene here. If we look just at the 3D viewport, we've got the grass back here. We've got the footage here from the camera view. And it actually turned out all right, but it almost didn't work because the background was very blurry, pretty much obliterated here. You could see I was basically only able to get one tracking point, and even this isn't perfect. It's still kind of floating around back there. Basically, I just couldn't track any of the background except for this single point. But this is what would happen to everything I tried to track. It would just float around and not match the camera motion. Kind of scary when you can only get one tracking marker. Thankfully, it's pretty much just a tripod camera move, so we didn't have any crazy parallax or anything that needed to happen. It was just a basic 1-point track, and you can see here is that point in the background, and I parented all the grass to that single point and added a little bit of manual rotation, I believe, as well to match up with the camera rotation. But yeah, this is the kind of thing that keeps me up at night. Just stuff that, like, maybe I'll be handed a shot someday that I just won't be able to do. Okay, so the third and final thing that kind of just stresses me out because I actually don't understand it very well is color. And color pipeline or workflow or color spaces, all that stuff. So basically, my rule of thumb for visual effects is if you're doing visual effects, set the view transform to standard, and that's like the lowest common denominator, it'll be good. But recently, Blender's introduced the AGX view transform, and I've heard that's really cool for like getting good highlights and information in your CG stuff. But what happens when I want to mix that with some just normal footage from my camera? Switching this from standard, I think this is what the footage should be displayed as, the standard view transform. But how do I get my CG to be like rendered in AGX? And then like, how does it mesh with like normal standard video footage? I think this is Rec 709. So something I've noticed is in the color, we've got convert color space. Seems like it would probably solve the problem if I knew how to use it. Linear Rec 709, I think that's what's coming from the camera. Let's maybe say our CG is an AGX, so let's move the color space to AGX base display. I don't know which one of these, there's lots of options. Okay, so maybe this should be AGX now because we're working with AGX. And then before we completely export it, maybe it goes the other way. Maybe it goes from AGX to Linear Rec 709. Then we can use that to edit stuff in like a timeline or something. But I don't think this is right. I don't understand it. And that's what's scary to me, is that I just don't understand how this works. Now, if you know how this works, that would be awesome if you could tell me. But yeah, those are the main things that kind of concern me and scare me as a visual effects artist. So this wasn't really supposed to be like a downer of a video. It's just supposed to be kind of like transparent and share things that concern me. But yeah, I'm human, and just because I have a channel teaching visual effects doesn't mean I know everything about visual effects. Now, you might not have found this super useful. If you'd like to find something that's more useful, you can check out the last video that was on the things that don't scare me anymore and techniques and solutions. But other than that, I have a gift for you as a thank you for sticking around on this video, and that is this asset pack of seamless looping smoke elements. I find these really handy for adding atmosphere and life to my visual effects shots. And if you would like to pick these up, there's a link in the description where you can get those for free. But other than that, I hope you have an excellent day. Cheers!